guys, this is Svein on the SDS channel back again, and today we're gonna have a look at this Cowgirl West figure. It's a 1/6 scale Western Cowgirl, as the front of the box says there, and it's the LS2022-08A model. There's a model B of this figure. We're gonna have a look at that one in the next review, as well as the diorama base made by the same company. And the name of the company is apparently LONGSHANJINSHU. Here's the box for the diorama base. You can see the company name there, and they're apparently made in Cheyenne and not China. But yeah, we're gonna have a look at this one at a later point. But for now, we're gonna have a look at 08A model. And as you can see, here's the figure. It's a nice picture of the figure on the front here, with the Cowgirl West logo. It's probably just a typical logo, because I'm not aware of any Cowgirl West movies or something like that. It's just something that branded this series of figures. On the side, 1/6 Western Cowgirl. On the back, you have the company logo, and under it says LONGSHANJINSHU. I probably butchered the heck out of that name. Still made in Cheyenne, as you can see. And there's some warning on the back here. 1/6 Western Girl on the other side. Nothing on the top, nothing on the bottom. And the box have this magnetic flap, and everything is packed in foam. So let's get the camera closer up, and we have a look at how everything is packaged. And as I said, everything is packaged in foam, and inside here you find a piece of instruction. And the gun holster belt is apparently made out of leather and all that. And it also warns about maybe staining the body. And yeah, we'll get back to this. As we move on here. So let's have a look at the accessories first. When I first had a look in this box, I got surprised because this sawn-off Winchester rifle is made of die cast, and yeah, you can move the hammer in the back here. Other than that, I don't see any moving parts, except for the, oh yeah, the trigger moves as well, and this reloading handle here. So this entire piece is die cast. The revolvers, however, or maybe we should have a look at the details there before we move on. It's painted really nicely with a copper or brass color here. Nice engravings on the side there. Another side. Painted to look like wood on the stock here. And yeah, a metal color for the barrel itself. So yeah, that was the Winchester piece. The revolvers, however, are made of plastic, and the only moving parts that I can see is the hammer here. It looks like the barrel, yeah, the barrel can turn, but it also looks like this piece on the side here is supposed to move, but I don't dare to move it. I'm afraid I might break it. But this type of revolver was always loaded through the port. On the side here you just flip down this little piece and you put in the bullet, you turn the barrel, you put in another, and so on and so on. And when you're gonna empty the gun or the empty holsters, you open up this hatch or whatever, and there's a piece on the side here. You can barely see it. It's not movable, but you pull it backwards and the empty shell drops out. You turn the barrel, slide the mechanism, and the empty shell pops out, and so forth. But yeah, other than the turning barrel, yeah, you can really open this side piece too. Not much though, but if I turn the barrel, you can barely see the next round in there. But yeah, you can open that piece, so that's the hammer can move, the barrel can turn, and you can open the loading chamber here. And that's it for the gun, painted in a gold or brass color with a wooden handle. And you get 2 of those. Here's the other one. It's the same deal with this one, painted and molded the same way. So yeah, you get 2 revolvers and the Winchester. You also get two gun holding hands. One is meant for the Winchester and the other for the gun. So let's see here. Maybe this isn't for... it makes sense to me that these are meant for the this hand is meant for the revolvers, but it doesn't hold it very secure. I'm gonna try using the one that I suspect is meant for the Winchester though. This one holds the gun kind of better. It's better grip at least. So maybe this one is meant for the revolver. And this other one, if I can make it happen. Yeah, that's probably more like it. It was the other way around. This can, it fits better into the hand though, but I feel like the trigger finger is kind of flexing a lot to make it to the trigger there, but yeah, they can definitely hold the weapons. You also get cowboy hat. This one is brown with a strap around the top here, with a nice ornament piece on the front that is plastic, and so is the buckle on the side there, done in a brass color. So is the buckle. Got a kind of a fabric surface on the top and just pure plastic on the bottom, painted, very thin and somewhat flexible, but yeah, here's the hat. You also get a bag with some gun holsters and a belt here. I'm gonna open it up very quickly. Now, there seems to be two gun holsters here, but only one is really attached to the belt, and you get some cartridges or bullets here on the belt. It's a plastic buckle done in brass with a nice detail on there, and it's a button piece there. It's actually metal, it's die cast. Alright, that's cool. Maybe thin or something like that, but it's very light, it feels like. But you got this knob under there that goes into one of the holes on the other side here. I'm gonna put it on the figure in a short moment here. But yeah, got some nice details on the both the belt and the holster. Got a buckle here on the holster too. And yeah, so that's the belt. You also get this piece of thread or whatever, a string, to tie the holster to the leg. And as I said, you also get a second holster. I'm not sure if it's a spare, meant as a spare holster, or if it's just another way to attach it. I'll have a look at the box when I get to that point. but yeah, nice details on it. So there you have that. And there's also, at least I think it's some kind of blue tack or something. You're not supposed to eat it anyway. Or maybe it is just to keep the figure dry. I'm not sure. I think I maybe saw another one of those. We'll see. Anyway, then you have the figure, and the figure have a ever so slight issue. I'm just gonna place it up there for a second and adjust myself here. I opened this box earlier to inspect it, and what I found when I opened the box, here is the bag you're not supposed to eat too. This have to be some kind of blue tack for something, I'm not sure what for, but it's there. Anyway, back to my issue with the figure. Earlier when I opened this box to inspect it, I found that one of the spores on her boots was loose. That the wheel on the back of the boot was laying inside the box with a tiny little pin also laying somewhere in the box. I found the wheel up for the left foot up here and the pin down here, and that was the case on the version 08B too. So just beware when you open this box that if one of the spores on the boots are missing, inspect the box thoroughly, because both the wheel and the pin is in there somewhere. The wheel is easy to find, but the pin is very tiny, and I'm gonna show you why. So what had happened, and I hope they don't fall out now, but on the boots here you have these tiny wheels that can move around, and there's a metal pin going through the spore and the wheel to hold it there. But as you can see on this side, the pin is about to fall out again, so I'm gonna fix it better. But the problem is that the side pieces that goes from the boot and to the spore is a soft rubber, and during transit the doll or the figure has been moving around in the box and wiggled the wheel pieces out of the spores. So when you open the box and if you discover one of the spores are missing, the wheel and the pin is somewhere in the box. You just have to find it and put it back together. But on both of my figures, it's been this foot, her her left foot, that has been missing the piece, but it might be just a coincidence that it happened to both of the figures. But anyways, beware of that. I'm gonna secure both those pieces and we have a better look at the figure. So, having a look at the figure out of the box, she comes with some plastic protection here. You got bag over her head, you got plastic wrap around her arms and around her body, and that's probably to prevent the pleather from staining the body. But yeah, you got that, and give me a second and I'll remove it. And yeah, here I have managed to remove the plastic on the arms. I just cut with a scissor around the sleeves here, and I cut the plastic a little bit down the chaps here so the plastic isn't visible, but I left it on under these gauntlet things here and under the chaps to prevent staining. You can see bits of the plastic right there. But yeah, let's first have a look at the head sculpt. And I have some dust there that I can't get away, but yeah, the leather stuff have left some dust on the body, but I'm sure it's possible to remove it. But then again, I can think of it as freckles as well. But it's a beautiful head sculpt, blue eyes, and it got this. This is what I don't like with head sculpts, when they paint the back part of the head to simulate the color of hair instead of covering it up with the hair. But it's not so apparent from the back, no, from the front I mean. But yeah, you also get some painted hair on the side down her temple there. But it's a cute head sculpt, beautifully done, and I'm gonna say it right now, the version B of this figure mainly has a different color on the top piece here, on the shirt, and I think on the details on the spores, and she got a ponytail instead of the loose hair, and that's pretty much the difference between these two figures, color and hairstyle. But you'll see that on in the next review. I'm gonna go in more into detail on this particular figure, and in the next review of the version B, I'm gonna show you the differences between the two, and don't have as much as in-depth review on the particular figure as I'm gonna do with this one. But as you can see, it's a red or it's a brown top. Underneath it's a plastic bra, and it seems to have some details on it. I'm not gonna untie this just to show you, but as you can see, there is a bra there, and it is plastic. As I mentioned, you have these gauntlets with strings on it here, typical Western stuff. You got the black thong, and yeah, just for your information, there is no painted details down there, so I'm not gonna even show you. The chaps have these hooks that hooks onto the thong, and as you can see, the thong is just hooked on with this buckle thing here on both sides, and the chaps just hooks over the thong there. It's the figure from the back. The chaps got these strings too, that is typical for this Western style. Got some rivets here on the side. The boots are plastic and they are not really soft. You don't get too much. You basically don't get any articulations in the ankles here. You can squeeze them a bit on the top, but it's not much articulation beyond the swivel right there. And boots are brown with the spores here around the ankles. This if I can focus. The spores are painted silver here, and there's a pin that goes through the spore that is metal. The wheel themselves are plastic, but the spore armature here is rubber, and I can see that the one on this side is about to tear up on mine, so I got to be careful. But it's got a tear there. Didn't notice that until now. But yeah, here's the figure from the front again, and from the back, and again this chaps just hook on like so. And it's built on a TB League body, I can tell that, because if I wiggle the head up a bit, you can see there's a steel skeleton in there, and there's a silicone skin on the body. It's definitely built on a TB League body, so it's completely seamless. Anyway, let's move on. There's one more detail in the box. I'm gonna put the figure there for now. If you lift up the first layer, you get a second one which has the stand, and the base of the stand is a sturdy piece of plastic. It doesn't feel cheap, but it's a circular sturdy piece of plastic. And the pole itself is a metal rod that you just insert like so, and you have the typical crotch grabber holder there, and yeah, that's the stand, and that's pretty much it for the contents in the box. Let me put on the belt on the figure and I give you my final thoughts. And yeah, I managed to get everything put on to the figure. Everything in the box is right here. The only thing that doesn't have a place to go is the hands, but that's an easy fix. And boom, you don't have to see those extra hands. You can actually just there is enough room, at least for the relaxed hands, to go under the base there. So if you want to have them on the display shelf and not see them, you can to a certain degree do that. It will balance a little bit on any gun holding hands though, but I'll probably just leave them in the box or on the stand like that, I assume. But yeah, everything goes on the figure. The belt, I feel it needed a final hole further in to make the belt a little bit tighter. I feel like the belt is about to drop off at any moment because it's not hooked on tight enough. The second gun holster I found out from the box art, if I can get it here. If you look closely at the box art here, you can see that one is attached to the belt while the other is just flung over through the belt. And I'll show you here. Move in a little bit closer. If I can do this without the rifle falling off. As you can see, the inner piece there, it's a flap on both holsters. You can see it here on this one, but there's a flap on both holsters. That's equal to the length of the gun holster itself. You just feed it through the belt and down, and you tie the strings from the holster around her legs. So that's how you hook on or put on the second gun holster here. As I mentioned with the belt, is that it just tabs into a hole on the one of the holes on the belt. I put it on the tightest one there. Feel it should need one extra further in there, but yeah, it is what it is. The leftover belt, to put it that way, on the other side of the knob, you have to feed around and try to get through this loop on the belt here, which mine fell out of, I see. But there's a loop on the belt that you can move around on the belt there, that you can feed it through. But mine have dropped out and is right there. But the belt stays on, and yeah. That's pretty much it. I chose to, on these dust particles, I chose to put the rifle, the Winchester, in her hands, since the revolvers have a place to go, like so, utilizing one of the gun hands, the one with the finger not pointing so far out. This one was meant for the revolvers, I think. And yeah, I also posed her having all her weight on one leg, as you can see by the tilt of her hips there. I'll try to do a video sometime on how I choose to pose my female figures, but for now this is enough. You can look up something called contraposte or something similar like that on the internet, and you get a picture on how the ancient artists or sculptors thought a statue or a figure should be posed with the weight distributed on one leg, like you see here, and that tilts the body, shoulder and hips towards each other. And yeah, I don't have any figure to show it, but I'll show you in another video sometime how I pose my figures. But yeah, let's do a full 360 here on this female cowgirl. It's a beautiful figure. It just has some design flaws in my opinion. One of them are the spores that I think should be hard plastic, because the soft plastic or rubber, it will bend, and I had to look for one of the wheels for the spores inside the box and even find that tiny little metal pin, but it was in there in the box, and so be careful if you get this figure. But yeah, it's a really nice looking one. So I'm just gonna leave her like that, and I'm gonna get another female cowboy figure I have to compare with this one, and then we'll wrap up the video. And here she is next to another cowgirl figure I have from TB League, and this one with a more armor looking, sci-fi looking style, having the rifle in her hand, belts or guns in the belts, knife on the back there, and a hanging noose in her arm or hand. And yeah, she's gonna look nice on display with this one and version B. So yeah, there you have that. So that was my review on this Western Cowgirl figure, the LS2022-08B or AA, I mean, by this company I forget the name of. It was called LONGSHANJINSHU, right there. And that name was a mouthful. As I said, this is the LS2022-08A. Next time we'll review version B, and that one will be a very quick review. I will just put the figure together and point out the differences to this version A figure. And in that review I will also review the wine barrel diorama base. So yeah, if you have any questions, please throw me a comment, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel, like the video if you like the review, and I'll catch you on the next one, guys. Bye bye.